Guys, they're going to get blocked off. They can't finish it, can they? One more hit. They got it.
A base race is when two teams in an intense moment decide the only way for us to win now is to go for the Nexus.
It's pretty much when a team is so far behind that they just have to try something randomly.
You're not on the same lane, just go for the towers and don't fight each other.
It's a lot about judging how fast you can clear towers and how fast the enemies can clear it.
It should be like pretty obvious who's going to win it, but it's often like indecisiveness that loses you the base race.
So making the call in all of these base races that happens is really tough for any team.
But CandyPanda took down SOAS. That means there's going to be a 70-second spawn timer. Fnatic have to get back and deal with them.
I totally enjoyed the Fnatic one. That was great, we're picking backdoor our Nexus.
Is anyone going to be able to deal with this one? Catches him with another X. He's very low. They're pushing on the Nexus too. He's back to get it. I do not believe it.
No, I'm joking, it was terrible.
I'm just happy I had the experience like that, but I hope it never happens again.
It's really cool because it was the first great move that everyone recognized from me. I still look at it sometimes and people still message me about it.
I remember the CLG versus SK base race in Season 2.
Everyone was back in. The second teleport comes in. Big penalty. The boy throws it back. And it's won it. I do not believe.
Who plays with teleport on the AD carry? I thought it was really exciting.
We secured our spot in the summer split by winning a base race against Denial in our final game of the relegations.
The Copenhagen Wolves are on towards the inhibitor. They're now onto the Nexus, so it's Denial are going for it as well. The Wolves are faster here. The Wolves are going to win it. And a base race puts the Copenhagen Wolves into the summer split.
We re-qualified into LCS with a base race. That feels pretty damn good.
You have no idea what emotion comes up in the moment you feel, oh god, we won this game just by that.
They're definitely exciting. Everyone is shouting during the base race like, finish, finish, finish.
Let's go, finish again, finish again, finish again.
I think I get excited because it doesn't happen too often.
I think it's a lot more exciting for the fans than it is for the players.
It's fun if you're in the winning team for that.
They're the most exciting thing in League, the best way to finish a game.
Welcome back, everyone. If you missed our first match of the day, spoiler alert, Alliance beat ROCCAT without a base race, and Joe and Quickshot are here with me to break down things a little bit further. Trevor, I'd like to start by taking a look at the picks event from ROCCAT, because yesterday Veggie said, we just pick what we're comfortable with. We don't yet know what to pick yet on the patch. What do you think they picked today?
So I don't think they did too bad of a job in terms of the champions they locked in and how well they perform on the patch. Leona, Elise, there's a lot of hard engage. You've got Jax that's got a stun as well. And considering how much more expensive the Mikhail's Crucible is, that sort of engage pick style of champion can work very well. And ROCCAT got off to a good start. They were 6-0 up in terms of kills. The problem was they spent so much emphasis on trying to get champions, they fell very hard behind in terms of CS.
Totally agree with that. I actually really like ROCCAT's combo coming into this one. We've seen already how effective Caitlyn Leona can be. The disengage from Nami is always going to be a problem for them, though, and we saw that time and time again. And also the Orianna for Froggen, not one of his big played champions. In fact, one that he's not played so far in summer and was, let's just say, terrible on in spring. He actually got more kills and assists in this game alone than he did in 3 games on it in the spring split. Sorry, so good performance from Froggen. Really liked his Orianna. And just see it again, maybe.
Very quickly before we move on, he also hit 300 CS at 23 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock exactly. That is a massive farming advantage. It's taking his Wraith camp and taking his opponent's Wraith camp completely uncontested. Nobody bothered him at all the entire game.
Yeah, when we look at the power spikes, then do you think that Alliance, I asked Nif, and he said, we actually did panic a little, but I don't really think they had ground to panic that much. The goal difference wasn't all that big.
It wasn't. I mean, Nif was 0-3, Shook was 0-3. They'd thrown some bodies at defending the Dragon, and Alliance did successfully negate ROCCAT getting the first Dragon, which they ended up securing. And with the goal difference, it actually kept them fairly far ahead. I was looking at it. At 20 minutes on the clock, every single one of the carries was ahead in CS. They had a 2,000 gold lead. They were even on towers, but they were down 5 kills. And they didn't care, because as soon as they hit those item points, they were just like, now let's flick the switch and let's just go win.
It felt in that way somewhat like a kind of standard Alliance game that the kills they're not really focused on. This time they were against them. Sometimes they'll be ahead in kills, but it's really the fact that they're focusing on farming really well in their lanes, making sure that they get those objectives. And well, with a lineup like they had, they got to the right point when they needed to. And we all know that Alliance are a team that, as you mentioned, flicking the switch. They can do like no other, I think, in the LCS.
Just very quickly, Alliance, while they do play very patient, the moment they have items in their inventory, that's when they say, now let's force objectives, now let's try and sneak towers away. But until they get to that point, nobody's willing to move. Nobody's willing to force objectives until they're comfortable in their power.
And Nif said it as well. We saw that Rabadon's on Frog and said, it is go time. Very good performance again from Alliance. And now we're going to rejoin D&D at the desk for our next match.
Thank you very much, guys and girl, I should say. Our next match, of course, is Millenium. They're going to be facing off against SK Gaming, and the record between these teams currently stands at 1-0 to SK Gaming. And if you were to look at Millenium, well, they've been playing a very similar playstyle for the last few weeks, which has been doing okay, but also makes them very predictable. Their match yesterday against Alliance, well, it was once again Kerp on LeBlanc, trying to find a target to blow them up and force an advantage off the back of it. The problem is, they are very easy to read, and teams are quickly figuring them out.
Yeah, so I'm happy they found a playstyle they're happy with, but I think they need to mix it up a little bit, because it's too easy, as you just said, for teams to predict it. It's the thing about Alliance. You never know how they're going to play. It's very hard for teams to prepare. Millenium, they know, okay, there's a high chance of a pick comp here. And again, we saw it yesterday. We saw the same comp they actually used in London in week 5 against Fnatic, just Leona for Jree and Kerp on LeBlanc, and you just had full focus on engaging whenever you had the chance. Kerp jumped in with DFG, picked up a kill or forced someone back, and then you took an objective from it. And yes, he did get a good start yesterday. Kerp on LeBlanc picked up a few kills early on. It just wasn't enough.
Kerpy, is that like a...
Did I say Kerpy?
He did say Kerpy. Is that a nickname you got for him? You guys
we are
share?
pretty close.
I know you're pretty close. I know you like to talk a lot. So, well, never know. You're getting the intimate details of Deficio. SK Gaming, of course, were back to winning ways yesterday with a dominant victory over Roccat. They got over their struggles in past weeks of a weak early game. And while having a late game team comp, they took control from early on.
Yeah, they basically looked like they were in full control the entire game against Roccat. The combo they used, or the comp they used, was very good. It was going to outscale Roccat, and was also very strong in the laning phase. So overall, SK looked very good. They won team fights, and yes, as I said, outscaled them. And they actually managed to pick up, there was only one dragon they lost in the entire game. They got the Baron, they picked up 11 towers as well, and every single inhib against Roccat. So took down pretty much the entire base, full control of the whole game. One player I wanted to talk about is actually Jesiz and his champion pool, because teams keep giving him Kale. It's his most played champion here in the summer split. He's played it 4 times and won 4 games. And yet teams keep leaving it open. SK Gaming will first pick it, and he's happy on it. A bit weird though, he used to play Ziggs a lot in the last split. This time around, he's actually been losing on it. It's not been working out too well for him. It's been more about Kale, cast it in a few times as well. And of course, with Nidalee now being reworked and out of the picture, which was one of the big champions, I feel like teams should target towards Jesiz, try and get him something where he's not very comfortable.
We'll see how it works out for them. We're going to check out those starting lineups so for these two teams. Over on the blue side, it's Millenium. That means Kevin, who you just saw in that video, being tormented by Peke in the top lane. KottenX in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, Creaton as the AD carry, and Jree on support.
And on the red side with SK Gaming, we do have Freddy in the top lane, Svenskeren in the jungle, Jesiz as the mid laner, CandyPanda as the AD carry, and nRated on support.
So before the players choose their champions, let's see how you guys called this game. According to LOLesports.com, it's a 68% vote for SK Gaming. Kind of expected, but not a big vote. I mean, Millenium are, what, 3rd, 4th place that they're chasing?
Yeah, but the thing is, you never know what to vote when it's Millenium.
Yeah.
Because again, one day they come in, destroy everyone in 20 minutes. The next day, they do nothing for 40 minutes and just end up losing the game here. If they can punish SK Gaming early on, where SK Gaming normally are weak, I definitely see Millenium being able to take the game.
Well, we'll see how it works out for them. Pick and banner will be getting underway in just a moment's time. We'll see whether they're ready and waiting for that action. Of course, we just saw the previous matchup. Just should point out that there was, as Trevor said, the fast 300 CS. I know everybody loves the records. He was actually 3rd overall worldwide second to only himself. He's second and third now.
Pretty cool.
Zhao is at the top, though, setting with Gragas, of course. So he's chasing. I think the second place was Karthus back in Season 2 World Championships, when you used to be able to take rates and everything. And that's really what sets you off, where you can go for those rates and everything.
And even the Wolf camp back then, you would just take every single camp. Your jungler, Snoopy, was just left without anything, and Froggen took everything.
Well, for this time around, Shook didn't really get much, but it didn't matter. He was setting up the plays. So here we go. Pick and ban getting underway. First ban comes in is the Orianna ban taken away from Jesiz.
So like this, early on, straight towards Jesiz, take away one of his comfort champions. We just saw Froggen play Orianna. Very strong in the laning phase. You can pick up a lot of farm, and then of course use it in the team fights. And now, thank you Millenium. Kale coming in as the second ban. 2 bans towards Jesiz, really trying to put him on something where Kerp should be able to punish him.
Did you share your thoughts with Kerpy?
I didn't actually do it with Kerpy, and I like the fact we're going to use the name now.
That's going to maybe become a thing. KL, as you mentioned, ban out 100% win rate for Jesiz on that one. Overall,
did you know, by the way, we always talk about how Kerp only has 1 trackball. He actually showed me he has like 4 now in his back. So he's bringing loads of trackballs.
Good, so the Millenium management have been listening, that's what that is. Ziggs banned out, Jesiz actually crippling himself now. What's he going to go with?
So for Jesiz, I mean, he's been playing Yasuo, he's played Zed a few times, Kassadin now even. That's the thing about Millenium.
Blue side ban.
Yes, Millenium, Kerp, he doesn't play Kassadin, he didn't do it last split either. They keep banning it away on blue sides. Again, very predictable for the other team, saying we don't have to ban Kassadin.
Well, if they don't go for LeBlanc, it will get picked, I feel, for Kerp. Froggen
5 mid lane bans.
Has been banned out, yeah. All of the mid lane. Final choice. Not sure about the tabs. I suppose it is. Kerp has played it a few times, but it does leave LeBlanc on the table, which I feel Millenium are going to be like, they baited us into this one. Do they want us to take this champion?
So, okay, we have to remember her Q no longer silent, so she's slightly weaker than before. Still a good pick, but not the same kind of lane dominance we've seen from LeBlanc early on.
Twisted Fate is available.
TF is open, exactly. Could be the option.
Both of these.
Caitlyn, Lucian open as they carries in case they want to go for one of them early on. Supports, actually. Every single support is open at the moment. And of course, Lee Sin. Predicted.
Gonna go for the Lee Sin in there. There's Evelynn and Lulu actually for Jesiz instead of that TF. We talk about it, of course. You know, we've shown the LeBlanc TF matchup that Millenium faced Alliance yesterday, and it didn't work out very well. But with Lulu being locked in, we'll see how it works out. There is TF potentially being picked up by Millenium.
And if they do lock it in, then with Lee Sin, you can set up some early gangs, some skirmishes, some fights where you're going to be very, very strong with both Lee Sin and Twisted Fate. Still though on the side of SK Gaming, early picking Lulu, of course he can still go to the top lane. Don't expect to see Freddy actually playing Lulu, he normally prefers the Bruisers, so expect it to be Jesiz in the mid lane, and SK Gaming saying early on, we want to make sure we get a pick. Jesiz really can play in his mid lane here, we don't want to risk anything with 5 mid lane bans.
Well, Svenskeren's been playing Jarvan a few times lately, so he's back on to Evelynn. Morgana, of course, left available, being banned out so heavily in 4.10, but it seems it snuck through the cracks because of the focus on the mid lane.
So a cool thing you can do when you have Morgana Twisted Fate is, first of all, you have a lot of CC to set up a gank, and also, once Twisted Fate teleports down, it's always the risk that people are going to turn around and just blow you up because you are fairly squishy. Black Shield instantly as you joins in, won't get crowd controlled, and can therefore move around like you want to. So overall, good early picks here from Millenium, good teamfight potential, good pick potential, especially Lander Binding, Lander Stun from Kerp, and you have a lot of CC combined here. And SK Gaming, with Lulu of course to disengage, with the Wild Growth, which is going to work really well against whatever target Millenium decides to land all the single target CC they have on.
Well, Zyra was chosen yesterday, I think it was nRated actually played it then as well. It was. And this Kog'Maw has been locked in. Okay, so this is an interesting one because there was a choice of all of the AD carries out there. Anything he could have gone for, went for Kog, who has, as we mentioned, been banned quite heavily in Korea, of course. Looking back at 4.9 as well, Kog'Maw was coming into his own.
He was a very strong pick, and the thing is, you used to build Blade of the Ruined King into Trinity Force, into Last Whisper and Vintage, whatever you wanted as your late game items. He never really built Bloodthirster. So he doesn't get affected by the fact it's now changed. He can do his same build as before, either go Blade first into Trinity Force or go Trinity Force and then Blade afterwards, and be very strong actually already in the mid-game points of the game, and then of course scale into late game as well and be this monster we always know he can be. And then when you put Zyra next to him, when you put a Lulu, you have so much protection for him, you have so much disengage, that if CandyPanda gets a good start here, if he gets going, he can really carry teamfights for SK Gaming.
Well, I think he's expecting to get going. I know for a fact I talked to him yesterday about obviously Caitlyn being viable. He was so excited about this patch. He said, I love this patch. I absolutely love it. It really goes to my playstyle. So CandyPanda feeling confident in this one. Of course, Lucian and Aatrox was picked up. We saw Freddy playing Aatrox yesterday. This time he's going to be up against it in that top lane with the Trundle.
And notice what we see here for both top laners. They have sustain. They can get health back, don't even need a Dawn's Blade to do it, and therefore they fit into now the current state of 4.10, where lifesteal, of course, is reduced. So overall, both top laners looking for the same thing, want to be able to sustain in the lane, want to be able to stay in the lane for as long as possible, and don't get too affected by the 40 seconds longer teleport cooldown. But overall, if you look at just the team fights, I mean, SK Gaming is all about CandyPanda. We're gonna make sure you stay alive and you just melt everyone from Millenium, and then you have Freddy and Svenskeren to try and go towards the backline of Millenium here, where Millenium is gonna look for small fights, not necessarily big team fights. They wanna have Aatrox split pushing. You can even put Lucian with Ghostblade and Blade of the Ruined King to split push as well, and then TF just joins in. Or you put Lucian in the mid lane instead to farm with Infinity Edge, with whatever late game item you want, and then TF is the guy split pushing. So they have multiple options to try and spread out the map and look for picks here and look for small fights. There's a lot of stuff.
You're excited about this one, aren't you? I can tell. You're a little excited. So the team comps have been picked. Which one do you think has come out ahead? Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag MILWin or hashtag SKWin. And check out the results in just a few moments. And of course, you know, talking about how the builds are going to go, what do we expect then? So we just saw, of course, a Lucian, Blade of the Ruined King, Ghostblade.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Creaton, I think he played Lucian as well.
He did
Infinity Edge Triforce.
He did. He went for the late game build. He cost a lot
against the Kog'Maw, who will 100% be building Blade of the Ruined King first.
Yeah, or Trinity Force, but still, then afterwards we'll build it. So he will go towards the items.
Reckless does say sometimes he goes Triforce.
You can mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this game underway. Game 2 of the day. SK Gaming in second place, chasing hard. They've just seen, of course, Alliance winning. They know they need another victory to try and keep in check with them to chase for that top spot. So, Millenium starting out as the blue team. Can they prevent SK from picking up a win here as the red team?
And again, Millenium, they're really looking to just fight in this mid-game point here as much as possible. Gang around with TF. Creaton can set up fights here. Jree can land a binding. Of course, Aatrox can split push one-on-one, and then TF joins in, and you turn it around to 2v1 very fast. Where SK Gaming can look for late-game team fights instead and just protect CandyPanda as much as possible. Freddy scales really well into the late game. Evelynn is a good jungler in the late game as well. You build very tanky, you go in there, you just take as much damage as possible. So overall, SK Gaming, late game team fights, Millenium, picks everywhere, and don't really want to go too late game in this game here, because then they're going to get outscaled.
Oh, we'll see how it works out for them. Millenium generally don't do quick games. SK absolutely do. They hold the fastest games, I believe, currently in the European LCS. They've had a couple of 25-minute matches in the previous 2 splits. At the moment, they are not looking to go for an invade, I don't think. You can see Kerp was roaming. He went up towards the top there, but he's quickly moving back into position.
And the AD carries here, especially Creaton, how he decides to build Lucian, is going to be a big thing. If he goes for the Blade of the Ruined King, Ghostblade, he's definitely looking for the mid-game fights here, looking to close out the game. If he instead goes for Infinity Edge as the first item, goes towards the late-game build, it could be to try and prevent CandyPanda outscaling him too hard, at least until we hit the real late-game point. Millenium now, moving in towards this red buff here. Freddy's waiting for him.
They've got 4 members at the top here. Freddy's going to have to back away. Dark Binding possibilities from Jree, not going to go too aggressive. SK responding to this. You can see CandyPanda and nRated already moving in, and Svenskeren, he's making tracks. He's heading straight down towards that red buff over on Millenium side of the map. So it's going to be a trade in buffs.
Yeah, trade buff and also lane swap here. Millenium up in his top lane, SK down his bottom lane. So normally, you want to see SK Gaming, because they're in the bottom lane with their dual lane, go for an early dragon. But if Millenium send down Jree, if they send down Kevin and KottenX, there's multiple members to try and stop this dragon, and it should be enough to actually prevent SK Gaming from going dragon early. So we need to see how they want to play with Jree, and if they want to try and stop an early dragon, or if SK even wants to start it.
Well, with both top laners with the Door and Shield, it suits them well to be in a 2v1. Of course, they have that regen health gen. They don't have to get the lifesteal on there, which has been changed. Kerp taking some big abuse from Jesiz early on here. Couldn't pull that card quick enough to land it on Jesiz. Was slightly out of range. So blue buff rotation. You can see KottenX in there, along with the buddy system that they have with Kevin, and it seems they're going to go maybe a 4-on-1 dive on this top lane.
And SK like to do this where they actually keep Freddy in this 1v2, just trying to get as much XP as possible. Won't necessarily get any CS, but he's trying to get XP. Already put down a ward here, expected Millenium to move multiple members up to try and dive him, which was the old style of lane swaps where you would always try and go for the dive, force the top lane away. That's why they started jungling instead, because it was too risky to stay under the tower here. But something SK likes to do, it also means Svenskeren is farming by himself. And you actually see Millenium with an early ward on Dragon as well. So they see this one, but because they're 4 top, it's going to be a Dragon for SK.
They will have the timer on it. It's going to take some doing for SK, but it's a 3.5-minute Dragon start. That will get taken down, as you mentioned. They'll have the timer on it. Dark Binding just slightly off, not quite catching out Freddy. So Dragon goes down. Good start for SK Gaming. They are possibly going to lose that tower at the moment. It's not being pressured too hard, and Freddy is actually back in play.
It's okay. Millenium backed away with both Kevin and KottenX. Didn't want to try and go for the tower here, just waiting for Creaton to poke it down, and Kevin actually teleported to this bot lane. Svenskeren is nearby though.
We'll see whether he goes for this one. He's taking the golems down first. That way,
remember, he has his passive.
CandyPanda holding that one there. KottenX is backing off. Shook's just won the last game on Lucian. He's not going to get involved in this one unless KottenX needs to substitute quickly. As it is, Freddy in that top lane is holding well. Still hasn't got a single CS right now, but is absorbing the experience as the tower takes down those minions.
We could actually see Millenium try and go for kill the tower up top and then swap down this bottom lane here and don't give a tower to SK, and therefore trade tower for Dragon early on. Kerp though needs to be a little bit careful in here. Svenskeren is staying around.
Freddy caught with a Dark Binding, but not a lot of damage following through. Svenskeren with that double buff, waiting for Kerp to step out.
So both Ghost and Flash are going to be very hard for SK to kill him so close to the tower as well. Not sure if Svenskeren was waiting around for a counter gank instead, in case KottenX was in there to try and get a kill. Now he's down this bottom lane and will actually be able to get the counter gank.
And they know KottenX is there, and actually he's going to hope that he pulls in towards him. KottenX maybe stepping out. Look at him, he's edging, he's twitching, he's desperate to go for this one. He talks about how he loves to get those kills, but he's not quite edge enough. He's lost the red buff's timed out. Now KottenX has gone deep on this one. Svenskeren couldn't come around the back of the side of them. They're going to try and lock on towards him. They need to land that grasping root. Oh, it's just off the side. Does not land. And KottenX will be safe for now. Hasn't parked off yet though.
They're simply waiting for Millenium to push even further out. Otherwise, CandyPanda can just freeze the lane if Millenium doesn't push it all the way. So that's why Svenskeren is still staying around here, hoping they will keep pushing up.
Well, mid lane's been pressured. They put the damage down and forced Kerp away so far. With Jesiz is backing off there. Meanwhile,
he's in behind him.
Svenskeren's around the backside. It's Freddy. Kevin, they're going to go for. Can they pop that blood? Well, it doesn't seem that they will. And he just pounces out of range. Didn't even need to burn the flash.
But this means now CandyPanda can freeze this lane if he wants to and deny a lot of farm away from Kevin, while Freddy, once his tower actually goes down, will try and pick up some farm in case Creaton and Jree leaves the lane. But now they did a very good job actually resetting the entire wave. The tower got to kill it, and therefore lost a lot of minions for Freddy. He couldn't pick up the CS, just only got the experience. And now's the time where he needs this minion wave to come down to him so he can start getting some farm, while CandyPanda in this bottom lane, you see him now, is gonna freeze it by himself and force Kevin away, so he won't be able to pick up any CS.
Toying with the emotions of Freddy there, trying to get them last hits on the CS, just keeps bullying him away. Now he feels he's comfortable. He knows in a one-on-one, so he feels he can actually get some experience, and more importantly, that siege minion was there, so he gets him that vital gold.
And this is one of the things SK Gaming as a team does really well. They know exactly where they need to have Svenskeren early on. The reason he stayed in bot lane for such a long time, even though it was very hard to get a kill on either Lee Sin or Aatrox, was simply to prevent them from pushing out the wave, forcing Kevin away, and giving CandyPanda some free time to farm.
Well, gives Freddy some free time to farm in this top lane. There's a big wave though coming in for Kevin, so he's going to be happy once that goes on towards him. They're happy to trade as well, back and forward. They're both feeling a lot more confident. So CandyPanda going back, 1200 gold on him. We'll see what he comes out with. It is going to be a Blade of the Rune King he's heading towards. Bilgewater Cutlass already picked up by Creaton though.
Yeah, so this is one of the good things about Blade of the Rune King as the first item, is you can actually build these long swords and a dagger without completing the Cutlass and still be very strong in the lane, because you get all these early items which you then upgrade into the blade later on. So Cutlass now for Creaton on Lucian. Not Cutlass yet for CandyPanda, so slight advantage now to Creaton in the lane.
Well, we just saw in the previous matchup Kerp with, Overpower with the triple Doran's. Now we're seeing Kerp with the triple Doran's ring as well. Saw how far it set him back against Froggen. not really being punished as hard by Jesiz, but he's got a long way towards that Athenes already.
And Froggen yesterday in Twisted Fate did the same thing. Triple Thorns into Morello Normicon, then he started building towards the Death Cap, and so on. I actually believe maybe he went Hourglass in the game, but still, we could see the same thing for Kerp here. Doesn't want to build the Athenes because again, it is changed a little bit. He doesn't feel like he needs it because of blue card. Jree though, taking some damage here, and Zyra against Morgana is a very good matchup for Zyra because you can really poke her a lot.
It's a good trade back and forward between the two. CandyPanda taking some abuse back in the top lane. You can see they're just clobbing each other. I keep mentioning the fat lads from Grimsby, and that's exactly what's going on here. I don't think Freddy is from Grimsby, and I know for a fact Kevin isn't, but anyone from Grimsby knows exactly what I mean.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm lost.
Think of a fishing town in your beautiful, beloved Denmark.
Esbjerg.
There you go, Esbjerg, yeah.
It was actually one
is
you
that how
went
you pronounce it? I said Esbjerg. I do, Esbjerg.
Esbjerg.
Esbjerg, there we go. Today I learned.
Well, come back to Denmark. I can show you around.
Show me the sights.
Sadly, it is actually a pretty boring country. We don't really have anything.
Okay, that's not really advertising the country how they probably would imagine it. Nevertheless, back to League of Legends, because right now the farming session in this bottom lane is about to hit level 6. You can see CandyPanda was already firing off those rockets. Jree's going to catch on, puts the shackles down, nRated's going to get stunned down here. He's going to go down. Of course, the plant passive, he's not gone down yet. There he is. Jree now in trouble. Can he land the shot? He does, and it's going to get followed. CandyPanda gets the revenge kill.
So it was actually not level 6 on to nRated yet. He got it as he died here. Maybe with the kill he managed to pick up. Kerp though, down his bottom lane.
Gonna come in, lands the gold guard onto CandyPanda. The damage from the culling from Creaton as he flashes in, gets one down. Svenskeren turns it back around, gets one. Can he get two? Yes, he does. Captain Surprise is not gonna catch on. Well, it doesn't matter. CandyPanda already got in there and got the kill with the Captain Surprise.
And Kevin now teleported down, too late for the fight here, so his teleport is gone. Freddy's farming the top lane. Creaton now, of course, will return to the lane a little bit late, so should be some farm for Kevin, but what a fight here. Early level 6 for Jree, so he went all in onto nRated here, followed him even after the flash, got the stun onto him, he went down, but then a beautiful passive from nRated, got Jree so low, one more hit from CandyPanda, it was a kill, and overall, I mean, SK Gaming coming out ahead of everything.
Equal in gold still between these two teams. Remember, Dragon was picked up by SK early on. That is back up and alive. First tower, of course, was taken by Millenium in the top lane. Jree gonna just get a little spiteful on Svenskeren, I feel there, landing the
good damage though.
The Tormented Soil and the Binding, letting the white do the damage on Svenskeren. Blue buff will be spawning. Tell a lie, it's already been taken, I think. I can see it already on him. Yes, that's the Svenskeren's blue buff, which he took off Kerp, and Jesiz already has his own. And speaking of Dragon, I did say they took it only on 3.5 minutes. Looks like they're going to go for it again.
So Kevin was recalled without teleport, but he's already moving towards the Dragon in case SK started it. So they're backing away here. They know they're not really in a position to just straight up force the Dragon. You have to tank it. But then on the other hand, they feel very confident actually starting it, so they're going straight forward.
Freddy isn't that top lane. He's got teleport available if he's needed. But
Jesiz
is
completely out of
backing
position
off.
here.
This is going to get taken, and nRated's coming up. He sees the ward down there, but, well, Jesiz is gone.
Yeah, very surprising here by SK Gaming. I mean, Jesiz was recalling the mid lane, kept recalling. Svenskeren moved away from the Dragon, and of course Freddy was just freezing the top lane with teleport, however. But then just went straight for Dragon. Didn't even care. SK completely out of position. Easy Dragon for Millenium.
So, even lane still between these teams. We'll see how that progresses. Bilgewater Cutlass was picked up by CandyPanda when he died last time around. Berserker Greaves were completed by Creaton, so he came towards those boots early on. So these AD carries, it's a tight fight between them, honestly, and you can see 87 to 87 CS between the two. They are very much evenly matched. Two very good AD carries here in Europe. Svenskeren clearing out pink ward, giving him coverage. Should mention this top lane, actually. Freddy's been freezing this one for a very long time, actually, back and
We'll start pushing now, though. We'll slowly start pushing towards the top lane here today. Kevin needs to make sure he goes up there once the wave activates and gets it. Jree going very aggressive.
Soul Shackles straight away. CandyPanda will go down. Whoa, it's going to take a lot of damage before he does. He's turning.
Coming in.
Kerp's going to join in, and nRated's in trouble. Stun card catches on. It's a double, but at the cost of Jree.
And Millenium really invest everything into this bot lane here. Every single ulti from Kerp down to the bot lane. KottenX as well, always staying around here. Kevin needs to go in and try and clear this wave here to stop it from going down. Svenskeren is nearby, however.
Yeah, it may cost them this turret. That will drop down. You can see Kevin's trying to keep them at bay. Top lane, of course, still being left available. So, first turret of the game for SK. Second one should go to Millenium, those minions. Well,
just making sure.
Creaton's like just double checking he does go down. He's not confident, is he? There we
get
go.
it down, however. So once again, Jree setting up the fight in the bot lane, Kerp joins in, KottenX is there. This time around, Svenskeren wasn't nearby to turn things around. Freddy, of course, was just pushing his top lane, so didn't teleport down to try and counter gank, and Millenium managed to pick up some kills. And we talked about how, with this pick comp here, Millenium, they need to get kills early on, they need to be aggressive, and it's what we see. Every time they have the chance, they go towards these kills here, and we also see Blade of the Ruined King on Creaton, so looking for the early power, looking for these early fights.
Kevin keeping those minions cleared out, Freddy. Actually, both of these, it seems that it may be a Sunfire Cape start. I'm not too sure. It's either going to be Blade Ruined King or Sunfire Cape. Which way are they going to go? Kevin, you would assume would go for the Blade Ruined King, but you can see he's already got that Chain Vest on him just to prevent the damage.
So yeah, both of them gonna go for the Blade. Question is, will they complete the tank item first or not? I don't think Freddy will. Just straight towards Blade. Focus on pushing the lane here, building up towards his tank and his later on then when he can join in for team fights. Again, SK Gaming, they just want to scale up to the late game. They're not looking for any big fights here early on. They just want to farm as much as possible and make sure Millenium don't get any easy kills.
CandyPanda takes himself the white-blue buff to Jesiz, locking and securing that one. And of course, with that mid lane turret going down, it has opened up a little bit here for SK. Let's see whether they do manage to move into an objective. Blue buff, of course, for Kerp. Red card did not take it. KottenX got it.
Yeah. So this mid tower being gone is actually a big deal because it means SK can move a bit further in and get some wards to try and spot Kerp when he moves to either gank a side lane or whatever he decides to do. And now SK Gaming as well. 4 members together going in towards the tower because Creaton was left in his bottom lane. They'll know they can go in and get some damage.
Half the hit points taken off that, and nRated is going to get caught out. They go for CandyPanda, but then no damage to follow up, and KottenX just gets blown up where he stands. Svenskeren actually caught with the gold card. He may go down. Creaton comes in just in time to call him, putting down the damage, but Wild Growth will keep him alive, and SK back off.
We saw CandyPanda here. As soon as he spotted the Q from KottenX, he actually flashed because he knew he was going to be the target here, so he had to flash even before KottenX arrived. And therefore he only got kicked into the wall. They could just turn around, and now they want to go for Kevin up in his top lane.
Yeah, they're going to react quickly to this one. SK making a move straight in towards there. Jesiz comes around the corner. Kevin already making tracks. Svenskeren was ready and waiting to pounce. Meanwhile, Millenium, they're pushing the mid lane. It's actually CandyPanda and nRated, the only two defending it. Kerp making his way up towards the top. They need to go defensive duties. They realize SK are pushing for their second turret of the game.
They also realized that both Zyra and Kog'Maw was staying to defend. Kerp coming in though for the gank.
CandyPanda does manage to get the slowdown. He's going to get caught up. It's actually the Dark Binding comes in, and Creaton finally finishing off. Freddy teleports into the mid lane. They save the tower, but they lose their AD carry.
Lost the top tower as well here. Did manage to get the mid tower. Only managed to pick up a kill, and then SK quickly moves in there to try and defend it. Dragon, 1 minute and about 25 seconds. So for now, they can't really use the kill for much more than just getting some gold in the bank.
So despite the fact they did lose a kill, they got themselves a tower. SK Gaming come out slightly ahead, but in terms of gold, you can see very even between the two, farm-wise across the board. 2-2 in towers, 5-5 in kills.
Dragon for Millenium.
Working out well. Dragon back and forth for SK and Millenium. Next Dragon up in a minute's time. Who is likely to go for it? Really, at this time, you talk about SK, how they're happy to farm, happy to keep going. Should they be trying to go for these 5v5 fights at the Dragon?
So the thing is, because they have Lulu and Zyra, they can really protect whoever Millenium decides to engage on. So they should be able to teamfight pretty well, but they still want to go towards this late game point. It's the big deal for them, especially now also with AD carries, where you're going to see the Ghost Blade on Creaton. He's going to be so strong for the next team fight here. And Millenium, of course, will try and look for a pick in this fight, while the members from SK are still fairly squishy, and they can just lock down the target and go straight for the kill. If they can get it, even before the Dragon spawns, they're going to use it to get up to 50%.
They're in trouble, caught out by the Dark Binding. The rest of the Millenium going to collapse on towards this one. The Culling, not quite enough to catch him out. He's saved off by his Payne team. 12 seconds until the Dragon comes up. Freddy runs in a little too deep. Wild Growth saves his life, and the Stranglethorns go down. But Kevin pounces in. He gets scored out. Bloodwell pops, but SK are all so low on health. Creaton comes through. They could wipe out and pick themselves up an ace here. nRated in there, but CandyPanda still free farming off the side. You can see he's throwing out his ultimate, trying to catch on towards him. Creaton is singled out a little bit. Glitter Lance from Jesiz not quite landing. And SK, they're going to start the Dragon off. This is a risky start.
Yeah, they're very low already. Oh, the binding hit onto Jesiz as well. Creaton coming in.
Creaton going big. He doesn't get the double tap. He gets locked up and straight away taken down and nRated with a great grasping route to lock him in with his place.
And nRated really been playing well in the Zyra here, landing the roots, putting down his ultis to disengage every time, and Dragon to SK Gaming here. They're very low after the fight. Managed to actually get Kevin out of his passive. Teleport as well on cooldown. Such a back and forth fight. I mean, first they actually, Millenium went on to Svenskeren, had to back away. Then we saw the ulti coming in, went on to Freddy, who was very squishy in the start, got the wild growth from Jesiz, who is level 12 at the moment. Just overall, everyone was so low in the end.
Definitely a tricky, close match right now between these two teams, but SK Gaming have always come out on top when it hits that late game. They are so strong at clean objectives. You can see Jesiz rushing down that mid lane, trying to protect it.
We really saw the disengage potential for SK as well. First the ulti from nRated, everyone backed away from Millenium. Then we had Jesiz with the wild growth onto Freddy, so he stayed alive, and they could just slow everyone, force Millenium to back away from the dragon here. And once they actually started the dragon, and the binding landed onto Jesiz, quickly shielded himself. Creaton thought he could get an easy kill, instead just turned around, root once again from nRated onto Creaton, and he was dead. And dragon for SK.
So SK Gaming with a minute lead, 2,000 gold overall between the two teams. Will they start to focus on objective? Of course, top laners are starting to get a little bit stronger now. You can see Blade of the Ranking was completed by Freddy. He's also picked himself up a giant spell, while Kevin looks like he's rushing towards a Randians rather than a Sunfire Cape. Instead, he's of course had that build to cut this for a while.
And we really saw Freddy here in the last fight, how squishy he actually is early on. He definitely needs some tanky items as fast as possible. It was hard for him to pick up any farm now that the wave is actually pushing towards Kevin over in his top lane.
Well, blue buff for Kerp. V comes around there. SK actually still groups. Remember, they've already taken half the hit points off that middle inner turret. So Millenium have got to be careful they don't get caught out of position. Don't give CandyPanda some free time, because that max range W from CandyPanda can do a lot of damage. nRated caught out, locked up by Darkbind in a good wild card from Kerp there.
It is scary for SK Gaming. Every single time Jree fires away the binding, if you get hit by it, you're going to take a lot of damage. Might even be followed up by a gold card from Kerp, and you just lock down a target for multiple seconds and possibly kill it. We saw how much damage nRated already took, and he's now out of position.
Oh, he's separated. Twisted Fate going to go for this one. Kerp too slow. Not going to get in there in time. The problem is for SK, more for Millenium, is SK have got some great wave clear. You can have the vomit coming out from CandyPanda, the Bio Arcane Barrage as well, firing out.
Yeah, Lulu,
waves,
Zyra.
Lulu with the Glitter Lance, as you mentioned, the Zyra in there. It's really hard for them to get in there if they don't get a pick. And this is what we talked about Millenium. They all about picks, and they're doing the exact same thing again here.
It's the playstyle they love to play, and also it's the reason you see SK Gaming early picking Lulu to try and counter this whole pick style here, and then also nRated with Zyra just to disengage these fights. And also it makes it very hard for Millenium to even dive onto SK, because there's so much CC and so many members who can either get knocked off or slowed down, and therefore they won't be able to do anything. And now CandyPanda getting this tower down the bottom lane, lose the mid lane one.
And they lost Jesiz in the process. I was just thinking, 1 man versus 4 does not compute. And Millenium, they can keep on going here. They're going to push on towards that inner turret. This is going to be a problem, and SK Gaming have caught out a little bit of tactical surprise there. Teleport from Freddy, he's going to come in there. That's a great ultimate from Svenskeren, tries to catch up the 3 of them. Kerp's going to get taken low, but it's not enough. You can see CandyPanda is rushing into this fight. SK are running towards him right now. Teleport was cancelled. I think it may have been interrupted by Kevin in the top lane. You can see they're going back and forward. Kevin's also taken very low up here. He's going to jump away from it, and the tower is safe for now. But SK, that was a close moment.
So Kevin, he saw Freddy move away from him here, so he could teleport in for the team fight and just interrupted him, took a lot of damage for it and had to back away, but still managed to save the tower, at least from SK's side with Freddy, and Kevin managed to save his teammates because he stopped Freddy from actually joining the fight. So overall, both top laners can actually be fairly happy here. We just see the interrupt. Freddy didn't even have time to go into the bush, just had to straight away teleport. He actually kills Kevin here, so his passive is going to be procced, and then he escapes afterwards.
Bloodwell popped out, he will be able to get up and get away from that one. Didn't use the flash, actually, got away without using that one. So, SK Gaming still with the slightest, the smallest of leads over Millenium. This is not over by a long shot.
Keep thinking late game,
if they keep catching people out, if Kerp can get out there, get them gold cards, landing onto CandyPanda, who is the main damage dealer for SK Gaming, it could cause problems for SK.
Yeah, and of course for Millenium, it's a bit of a ticking time bomb as well. They know they need to make plays, they know they need to get some kills here. Because SK Gaming, despite the fact they're hit now, and the fact they can now farm even though we're only 22 minutes in. actually looking fairly good. Still, Millenium looking to make some plays. Dragon come up in about a minute.
So difference in item build right now. CandyPanda are actually going for the Infinity Edge as the second item on Kog'Maw.
So normally you see Trinity Force on Kog'Maw. It's very good if you want to kite around in team fights, you get some mobility, you can try and stay alive. But because he has Zyra and Lulu, he feels like he can go more damage here. He doesn't need the kiting abilities from Trinity Force and can therefore go straight for the Infinity Edge and do as much damage as possible now.
Yeah, I like the fact that obviously in 4.10, a lot of these AD carries, the top pros, still all undecided about the perfect build. Of course, sometimes it can be very much down to exactly who you are facing in lane or in the game itself, so they're going to itemize especially for it. While this is all happening, of course, Freddy and Kevin still going at it in this top lane. We saw how well that worked out for him last time around. Kevin did get taken down, so he's got to be careful he doesn't get too far away from that tower.
Freddy's definitely the stronger top laner at the moment in this one-on-one here. We just see him every time there is a fight, actually. Kevin has to go, he has to back away, even pop the passive before when he actually stopped Freddy from teleporting in. So things are looking good for him. He's just farming away as much as possible as well.
We'll see how these supports build out. Haunting Guys was picked up by nRated. Jree spotted out that this dragon is being taken. KottenX is going to come in. Is he going to fight it? He gets it. Hit gets out safe. Hit and run.
Very, very nice play. And it's very important you get these steals as well, especially for Millenium. They don't want to fall too far behind, so they can't make any plays. So very good steal by him, making sure you get some global gold. And we actually do see Jree here building towards the Mikhails, which generally you want to have against something with a lot of CC. I mean, on the side of SK Gaming, we could definitely see a Mikhails from nRated later on, but SK's lineup is more about slows here than actually stuns.
We'll see whether that works out. Aegis also being picked up by KottenX as well, so the first time we've seen a jungler pick that one up for a while. Randy and Zabone picked up by both Freddy and Svenskeren. They're going to stack in towards them. Lich Banes by both of the mid laners. Millenium, are they going to manage to find themselves a pick? It doesn't really matter when they can just go in and steal a dragon like that away from SK. I guess it's kept them within shooting distance of SK. Still only 1,000 gold between them. This game, as you mentioned at the start, possibly going to go long. Millenium, though, they have to try and finish this one earlier than SK.
And it's the issue for them now, and it's why we see them move so much around the map. They don't just group 4 members and move up the mid lane, because they know the wave clear from SK is so strong. So they keep spreading out, keep trying to find openings. Dragon is one of them, which KottenX managed to steal. And now Kerp going towards Freddy in this top lane.
Catching on towards him, stun card goes in. Oh, he actually avoided the wild card coming through there. He's going to try and delay this one. He's got no support, so I'm not sure where exactly he's running to. He's delaying. I see. He's delaying the mid lane. You can see they're rushing in towards teleport coming out. Kevin's going to get on towards there. They should hold this turret.
We'll be able to hold it. Not even taking any damage for it, actually. Yes, so Millenium, they got a kill. Might look for a fight as well.
They're rushing down the mid lane. You can see KottenX tries to get onto them. They're slowing them down. Kerp's about to come out the side there. They jump on towards Svenskeren. CandyPanda's going to be targeted. He's going to be the focus. Soul Shackles from Jree locks on towards him. Dark Binding catching on CandyPanda. Wild Ghost saving CandyPanda, but now he's trying to get away. He can't manage to get the damage down. Cathian surprise may actually explode on Kevin the moment he respawns. It will do, but it doesn't matter because Millenium, they got the picks. It's a 3-for-1.
So first to get a kill in top lane here. Kevin instantly teleports down to mid lane, and then Kerp runs down. They start a fight Millenium here. Jree, once again, gets into the back line. He gets onto CandyPanda, locks him down with Binding and his ulti, and then the rest of Millenium comes in and kills him. Even though everything from Jesiz was used to try and save CandyPanda, it wasn't enough. If he gets locked down, Millenium will be able to get a kill onto him, and that's the big issue because he's the main damage dealer for SK Gaming.
Great read by Millenium there to spot the situation and
the
knew
picks,
exactly what the delay was. And you mentioned they got the picks. They managed to lock out CandyPanda. And you can see the protection. Everything was thrown at CandyPanda. Save this AD carry. When he goes down, everybody has to scatter like the wind. And this time around, Millenium find themselves the picks, and you can see it's actually dragged them. Well, they were, what, 1.5k behind, and now 500 gold in the lead. And of course, with that tower advantage, that middle inner turret is a big one to take down. Takes away a lot of the vision that SK can afford without those minions.
We also saw the power of Creaton once he actually joined in. Later in King Ghostblade, he does so much damage for these 6 seconds. Now building towards Infinity Edge. Another reason why Ghostblade is a good item, because it gives you 15% crit already, synergizes really well with your Infinity Edge. And therefore, he's really looking for the next fight here to just destroy people if he can. And of course, Millenium are looking to try and lock down CandyPanda.
Kerp was Creaton showing himself down that bottom lane. There's a big wave coming up here. Millenium making SK making a big move on this inner turret, and honestly, they may well be able to get to it. They've a lot of damage down on towards A. You can see Millenium, they've actually moved into position. CandyPanda going to get himself a free wave, but he doesn't fancy it. They don't fancy it. They realize they've not got there quick enough. There's another minion wave coming in. CandyPanda out of position! What are you doing? Kicked and bounce! That is it! Millenium can rush and turn onto this one. You can see the culling coming out. Freddy's having to tackle that one up. They're going to chase back on towards it. Where is Kerp going to go?
It's going to be Baron
side expected. Stun guard on towards Svenskeren. Oh! Followed by a down finding. Beautiful, beautiful play from Millenium. And they turn this game on its head and get themselves another 3 picks.
Such a big mistake by CandyPanda. He didn't have flash, he used it in the last fight and he stayed in the front. So as soon as KottenX went in, landed a Sonic Wave onto Freddy, he knew I can get CandyPanda easy peasy. Kicks him back, he's instantly dead here, and now onto the Baron here. 2 members for SK trying to defend.
Soul Shackle's still available for Jree if he wants to go for it, he may well. Jesiz is actually taken very low from this one, he gets caught out. KottenX lands the Sonic Wave, they go back in and start the Baron once again. It's still only down to half health, nRated the only man off the side. He's already used the Stranglethorns, he's going to have to try and pull some miracle move here. Teleport available for Freddy, they're trying to delay it, it's not enough. Millenium get Baron.
Millenium gets the Baron and a lot of kills here. Everything about CandyPanda, once we actually get the replay rolling, just look here. CandyPanda in the front by himself. KottenX, this is an easy kick for him. No chance to even wild growth CandyPanda because Jesiz is so far back here and CandyPanda was kicked into the team. And then Millenium can just chase. Pops the ulti from Kerp. He goes in, doesn't even stun Freddy because he's so low already. Goes for the next target flash. And this is what we talk about with the single target stun. Followed him by binding. Doesn't matter which way you do it, you lock down a target for multiple seconds and Millenium picks up another kill.
Fantastic stuff. And you know, we talked about how easy it is to read Millenium. We know what they're going to do, but they do it very well. And when it works out beautifully. It's given themselves a 4,000 gold lead now. And of course, with that Baron buff, they can try and push an advantage. SK have regrouped. They're going back in that mid lane once again.
CandyPanda was actually up in his top lane here, just trying to pick up every single bit of farm he can, because again, it's all about him. His flash should be up for the next team fight, but he might look for some defensive item because he's the target every single time. Maybe it isn't enough for him just with Zyra and Lulu to defend him in these fights.
The problem is you can see how far he's actually fell behind Creaton. Creaton now, of course, had that Yomo's Ghost Blade and the Blade of the Rune King. A little bit ahead of yourselves there, guys. They do manage to get the Dragon down. Infinity Edge, though, was bought outright on that last bug. Meanwhile, of course, CandyPanda got that Infinity Edge on the Blade of the Rune King. Now he's going to try and get some attack speeds. Maybe, potentially, the Phantom Dance are going to come out there. But as you mentioned, he now needs something defensive. He needs to get out of those scary positions that he keeps putting himself into.
We, of course, have to give credit to KottenX. I mean, saw the opportunity, he landed a Q on the Freddy, just saw, okay, CandyPanda, you're out of position. Instantly jumped him, flash kicked him back to the rest of the team. So we need to see what happens here in the next team fights. I don't feel like Millenium can actually dive onto SK Gaming with all the CC, with all the AoE from SK Gaming here to knock up targets, to slow multiple targets. It becomes very risky to dive. They might try and go for it with Kerp here. No Hourglass, however, so he can't really go in first. He came to jump in with the passive.
Well, SK a 5-man defending this one. Of course, Kevin is pushing that top wave. He's just getting himself a gigantic chunk of farm, pushing it all the way around. And let's not forget, an Aatrox, if he's left free on the tower, will do a hell of a lot of damage on towards him.
Definitely. They could even put Kerp in the mid lane now, and then he pushes up the mid lane. We have top lane being pushed up by Kevin, and then they just stay safe in his bot lane, clear the wave every single time, make sure it's around the tower of SK, and in case something happens, Kerp just teleports in. If it's up in the top lane, they could dive onto onto Freddy, kill him, 2v1, and then take the tower. But for now, Kerp is staying with the team in his bottom lane here, so Kevin is all alone against Freddy.
Going to try and get around the side there. Look at KottenX, he's sneaking. He hasn't got flash available this time. He'll be off cooldown. He wants to get on towards CandyPanda once again. He was dangerously putting him close out there. Ward going down off the side. Yep, you know the KottenX is trying to sneak around. Going to sweep both of those lenses. There's going to be the culling coming out. Didn't really catch a great deal on anyone, but it does buy them time to catch on. Svenskeren caught out with the Dark Binding. Sonic Wave catches. They don't follow through on that one. CandyPanda does get that wave cleared down, but SK is slowly being chipped down here by Millenium.
Move Kerp to the mid lane. There's no hard engage on the side of SK, so he will always be able to join in. There's even Black Shield on Jree to disengage, and he's moving towards the top lane. He might go for the dive here for the 2v1. Should be able to kill Freddy and then take the tower, and then they can just back away down this bottom lane. And finally, Kerp behind the mid lane.
do clear out that mid lane. CandyPanda's the one that's going to rotate around and try and deal with that defensive duties, but that takes a lot away. Of course, they still have Jesiz on Lulu. Look at the goal, switching back and forward between Creaton and CandyPanda. You can see CandyPanda had snuck himself an advantage, but clearly that big fight, that turned it around for Creaton.
Look at the way Freddy plays on this top lane. He knows there's a chance Kerp is nearby, so he had to back away from the tower. As soon as he saw Kerp in the mid lane, he actually backed away and let Kevin just go crazy on the tower, kill it now. So at least Millenium got a tower up from the Baron so far.
Well, it was a Baron of opportunity, and a Baron well-worked opportunity it was for Millenium instead. They are now with a 5-3 advantage. You can see SK Min can try and make a play.
There's their teleport top.
Spotted out. Destiny comes in. It's not close enough, and Freddy does get out alive, but they're going to put some damage down on towards it. Remember, this is a Lich Payne as well on Kerp. They could try and take that tower down. Freddy doing a good job at clearing those minions, making Kerp tank out the hits.
So Freddy, he instantly flashed away as soon as he saw Kerp here. Had to use ulti as well to try and defend the wave, but he managed to hold Millenium off the tower for now. Bot lane still taking some damage though every single time Millenium has a chance.
Destiny also actually uncovered Svenskeren, as you mentioned, because he was trying to sneak around the side of Millenium, uncovered him. This time he's going to try it again. Destiny is not available. They are 3-on-4 on this bottom lane pairing.
There's actually a pink ward from SK Gaming. They did it for a long time, just making sure they can see if Millenium moves towards the mid lane. And didn't get spotted out. So Millenium backs away. They got one tower with the Baron, and also forced away a flash from Freddy, and a lot of gold now to spend, of course.
Yeah, by both teams actually, so everybody's going to step back from this one, take a breather. Baron will be up in just shy of 2 minutes. Dragon will shortly follow. Millenium, of course, have the timers on everything because they cleared it all out. Kevin coming in is going to try and sweep everything clear. Quicksilver Sash being picked up by CandyPanda.
Okay.
Wise use on that one, going to make sure it's locked up by those gold cards or binding.
Yeah.
Jesiz and the rest of SK actually shoved very well on these lanes. They're making sure they're getting pushed out of their base.
Just very smart by CandyPanda saying, I'm clearly the target, I need a defensive item. Even though I have a lot of protection, it's not enough here. There's no black shield to stop a stun, no mid-kills, or now actually is a mid-kill, sorry, onto nRated as well. So yeah, Quicksilver Sash, he can upgrade into Scimitar, which of course is a great item now in 4.10, and also cleanse from their mid-kills from nRated here. So everything invested into trying to keep CandyPanda alive.
Yeah, they're going to make sure he doesn't get stepping out in front there. So the flashback available on KottenX as well, we should point out. Of course, he managed to catch on last time. So, Dark Binding on Freddy, not going to do a great deal, not going to follow up on that one. Keeps him at bay, and it's SK that are back pushing again. They now feeling confident enough with that Baron worn off Millenium that they can still win team fights.
There's still 2 pink wards from Millenium around the Baron here, which SK didn't actually manage to clear. So Millenium already with some ward control for the next Baron spawning here, and if SK is out of position, or if one of them get picked off, it could be the next Baron again for Millenium. And this time around, I think they're going to be more aggressive with it, and not keep Kerp in the bottom lane with the rest of the members, if they feel like they have a chance to actually dive onto Freddy up in his top lane 2v1. Took them some time before, they did it in the very end, managed to pick up one tower.
So Blue Wolf Steel coming out from here. It's going to be done. Binding question on Freddy once again. He can't get close to it. Dragon will be up in 25 seconds time. Baron in 3 seconds. That spawn right out there. Can they catch off something from Millenium? We saw a little attempt at flanking there from Svenskeren. KottenX is in the pit ready and waiting. Remember, he stole on with a smite early on as SK were trying to grab the lead. Let's have a quick recap actually about how this game has flowed out, because we're at the 36-minute mark now. Dragon is going to be potentially the target, but it looks like Millenium may try and trade this straight to Baron.
If they run to Baron now, there's a ward though in the mid lane, spotting them move towards the Baron. You see even the ping here from SK Gaming, so they know, and they have to run to stop Millenium from starting the Baron here.
Yeah, they give up on the Dragon, they're running straight up towards there. This Baron will go down very quickly, so the rest of SK are going to have to react quickly. They can see it's down to half hit points already, dropping down 3,000 hit points. It's going to go before they get close. There it is, there's the Baron, and now SK engaged. Jree caught out, Jree goes down. Well, they're going to drive on towards it. Kevin's doing the front-loaded damage, but he's going to get out the Bloodwell. He's going to pop back out there. Where is Destiny going to go? Kerp comes out the side, catches on towards Svenskeren. CandyPanda, though, off the side, with the Wild Growth doing the damage. Kicked in, straight away exploded. Kerp and Kevin pile the damage down, and it's an ace for Millenium.
And SK Gaming, they had so much time to go in and clear these pink wards away, put their own ward at the Baron, but they didn't. So Millenium with full control here. Fight actually starts. Notice Kerp up here in the top of your screen. He's gonna teleport behind the rest of SK. Instantly CandyPanda was the target, gets a Wild Growth, everything. Stun onto nRated, so for now Kerp is just walking around. Nobody touches him. He doesn't take a single point of damage at this in this fight here. He can just do whatever he wants, and he just comes in the end.
Only
late game TF destroys people.
Only at the end they catch on towards him. Millennium are going to push on through on this one. They can finish the game right here. They've taken down the turrets. They had a minion wave in the top there. Nexus drops, and SK Gaming have been taken down by Millennium. That will absolutely put a dent in their charge to chase Alliance.
And Millennium were just the team who kept looking for fights here with the pick-up, and they kept getting the right fights, going towards the Baron here. As soon as they saw SK start up the Dragon, they're like, we already have big wards here, we know there's no wards on the Baron itself, we're just gonna rush it straight away. And SK Gaming were late to the party, and then the team fight itself. Kerp teleporting in behind SK Gaming, and nobody was even looking at him. He could just do whatever he wanted. Even the calling us also from Creaton did a lot of damage to the team.
So, again, I hate to say it, but Blade of the Rune King Youmu's has won again on Lucian.
It works!
It works!
It's the reason people build it, it's the reason they win, because it makes you so strong. In this mid game, even in the start of the late game phase, you are very, very strong with Blade of the Rune King and Ghostblade. You can then sell the Ghostblade in late game, once you have 5 items completed, and you have had this entire time as a power spike because you're so strong for these 6 seconds. And overall, it's a good item. I'm glad to see the European AD carriers are building it on Lucian today. Only Rexus did it yesterday, and he was the only one who won.
A fantastic quick turnaround, and just like that, Millennium, they get the Baron, they win the ace, and they take the game. And it's a very quick turnaround, and honestly, SK Gaming, they thought they got out of position, they thought they got in a great fight, but again, as you mentioned, in that fight, Kerp, untouched, not even focused on. A Twisted Fate, throwing out wildcards. I think he must have threw out at least 3 wildcards off cooldown in that fight.
And no hourglass. Full damage, full glass cannon here, could just turn him, instantly destroy him. Nope, nobody touched him. Bit of an uncoordinated team fight by SK Gaming, but everything actually started in this game from their one pick. Millennium got up in his top lane, where they kill Freddy, and then they run all the way down to the mid lane, start the fight. Every summoner was blown by CandyPanda in this fight. So the next fight, where he overextended, he was the target for KottenX, kicked him, and he died. First Baron, and Millennium got so far ahead. So just by 2 team fights in a row, one without summoners from CandyPanda, and one with summoners, wasn't enough to help him. Millennium got so far ahead they could win the game.
And talking about LCS big plays, that kick from KottenX was
beautiful.
Tremendous. That really was one of the things that turned this game on its head for Millennium.
Exactly, just kicking him in away from Jesiz. Couldn't wild growth him again. No flash, of course. Nothing CandyPanda could do. Once he was out of position, which was, of course, the main mistake for him, he was simply playing a little bit too aggressive. I think maybe he listened to you, because you were saying hit the tower, hit the tower. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to hit the tower. No, I'm dead.
I've not said hit the
Almost.
tower.
You wanted him to go forward.
I've not said that since Season 2.
Lies.
I think you're secretly my stalker, that's for sure. So where does this put them in the league, of course? Millennium now chasing hard. They're actually not far behind SK Gaming themselves. This puts them in a very good position.
Especially also because Fnatic won yesterday. So they're kind of fighting with Fnatic for this 3rd spot. We talked about it, of course, the Twitter question of the day, who's going to be the top 3 here in Europe. For now, Millennium looking good. Fnatic also looked good yesterday. We need to see what they can do today. If they can manage to get a win here, keep Millennium behind them.
And of course, Alliance, they're now top of the table. They're going to be looking at this game smiling, thinking, man, our position is secured right now.
Yeah, it's perfect. When you're the #1 team and everyone just under you just keeps beating each other left and right. I mean, couldn't be better. The further they get ahead, they secure the #1 spot, get a good seed into the playoff here, and of course, looking towards Worlds.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff, of course. A few more games to go yet. The game is not yet over. We're going to go over to Millennium's KottenX, who is standing by with Shocks and Quickshot. Let's check in with them.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Indeed, we are joined by KottenX. A great game on Leeson from you. Talk me through the mindset going into this game, because it seemed like you, Creaton, Kerp, you all had something to prove, because you all went very, very hard from the beginning.
Yeah, so we lost yesterday. We had to rethink what we will do in the game. So this time we went in with a plan, and we executed it.
Well, it definitely worked out. I got a question for you regarding Millennium's play style, because it does seem that you guys work the best when you're playing pick compositions, looking for those kills and objectives. Can you guys play other styles? And if you can, why are you not?
So pick compositions are really good for us, because we have a really good mechanical play, and we like to catch people a lot. I still think we can play other comps, but if this is open, then we prefer it.
If it works, absolutely. And you pick people off with that Lee Sin, which was actually instrumental in this game as well. And we actually have a replay to take a look at one of the team fights in the game where that was very important. So let's pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, so this is a team fight that happened early on. You can see even on kills, even on gold, even on towers. Let's roll this clip out and talk me through the decision making, because it takes a very long time. And after you've engaged, what's the communication like, KottenX?
So Creaton was pretty fed and he gets a good cooling off. So we just we went in and then we disengaged and then we killed the closest target to us.
So the next question for me is, after you end up killing Freddy, you guys end up sort of backing out and going back in. Who's the call-out? Who's the captain in this regard? Because you're going to have this dance for another 20-odd seconds.
So Creaton and Kerp were really strong at that point. So we kind of followed their calls. Like they told us that Freddy was coming in, so we just turned instantly on him.
Okay, so we're about to see Creaton go in. If you were to give yourself a scorecard, 1 being bad, 10 being good, what do you think of this play and the fact that you gave up 2 kills? How would you rate it?
Well, 3 maybe at max. It was kind of sloppy.
What would you have done better?
We should just disengage and regroup. Now we have 2 went in and 2 went back. So indecisiveness.
Well, you did redeem yourself with that Dragon Seal later, and actually a very good game. We also have an LCS big play from this game, which comes from @TheOddBlueJay, who says, KottenX kick on CandyPanda. That was so good, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I do actually think we've got a replay of that. So let's pull it what's on your screen and just go in super slow-mo as we pull off a KottenX, not an insect. Let's actually just roll this clip out. We're going to roll it at half speed. And KottenX, did you know that CandyPanda was a juicy target as you came around the corner?
Yeah, and I also knew he had no flash, so I just kind of went for it.
Well, congratulations, dude. It was absolutely well played. Ended up securing you guys the Baron. Definitely helped you carry on to finish the game out. We can get that clip off your screens right now. I do also want to give a little bit of props to Mr. Crepo, who chimed in. He says, Kog'Maw doesn't have a gap closer, but good guy KottenX gives him one. Millenium playing really well this game. Congratulations, dude. What do you think when you see your name on their LCS big play?
Oh, great that people think I play good and that they won.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we also checked in with you guys at home, and earlier today we asked you to toss your tweets at us and let us know which teams will finish top 3 in the European LCS and why. And here are some of your choices. The first one is from @JarNoman. Alliance will be on place 1, SK Gaming in 2nd, and Gambit will do what they always do, sprint in the end.
We'll have to see if that works out. Gambit are looking a little shaky, but they do have another game later today, so we'll keep a close eye on them as the weeks go on.
Yep. The second one is from @Seitz. Alliance, SK, Super Hot Crew, unstoppable. Alliance looks unstoppable. SK and the Super Hot Crew coaches are keeping them improving. KottenX, what do you think of those 3 choices? Of course, Millenium is not yet in them.
So I think these teams are actually play really good. I think the top 4 will be really close. I think we should be in there as well. But yeah.
Well, we wouldn't do this segment without mentioning you, of course. The last tweet is from @AlexFab4. Alliance, Fnatic, and Millenium, thanks to their mid laners Expeke, Kerp, and Froggen, are doing awesome in this split.
I would dare say, and thanks to KottenX as well. Definitely a turnaround performance since you've joined the team, so well played on picking up Millenium's level.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for sending those in, and we'll see how all of our teams perform on the road to the Summoners Cup. Remember to follow us @LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS to be a part of the action. Now we need to take a quick break with throw down some vision wards and prepare yourself for Fnatic versus the Super Hot Crew when we come back.
Oh, hey. Hey, Freddy. Can you hear me higher now? What? Am I loud or no? What? I just want to play the game.
Gonna come in, lands the gold guard onto CandyPanda. The damage from the culling from Creaton as he flashes in, gets 1 down. Svenskeren turns it back around, gets 1. Can he get 2? Yes, he does. CandyPanda's gonna be targeted. He's gonna be the focus. Soul shackles from Jree, locks on towards him. Dark Finding catching on CandyPanda. Wild Ghost saving CandyPanda, but now he's trying to get away. He can't damage to get the damage down. They realise they've not got there quick enough. There's another minion wave coming in. CandyPanda out of position. What are you doing? Hits and bounce. That is it. Where is Destiny going to go? Kerp comes out the side, catches on towards Svenskeren. CandyPanda though off the side with the Wild Growth doing the damage. Kicks in, straight away exploding.